Peace, human families of the planet Earth. I'm your host, Aseer the along with my co-host, Marina Empress 10,000 Years, Saga Sai, Amor, you, my brother, who's down, and all of you. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for all the continued support and prosperity, and definitely checking for the real and not getting caught up in the hype and the hoopla when it comes to this consciousness. Now, there's so much stuff going on in the world or whatever, as always, there's never enough time for us to even stroke the surface. But what we're going to do, you don't have to throw it away. What we're going to do, though, is kind of build and kind of gloss over some of the basic stuff that's going down. Some of the basic stuff that's going down is, one, again, the terraforming of the United States in the form of all of these crazy tornadoes. Now, Marcus Garvey said, look for me in the whirlwind, you know what I mean? Meaning that to say that after he left, he was basically going to reincarnate or return as a spinning funnel of air, which represents, again, Typhon, or which represents the eternal, what they refer to as the eternal spinning spirits. And this in the occult is a huge aspect of occultism and metaphysical power, in the sense that when one dies, they transcend their elementary body into an element, literally. And we find that if you do the due diligence to go back to all of the recent deaths we have, going all the way back to Etta James, right after one of them gets killed, you would see that there was always some sort of flood or torrential rain or some type of something, specifically in the Midwestern United States. Now, it's very interesting because in the Midwestern United States now, they're trying to redevelop and redistribute or try to come up with a new plan to reinstitute the North American Union thing that we put the kibosh on them in 2007. Because we had been building on it, what they had potentially trying to do with that from 1999 when we first had wind of it. So, again, they can't alter a lot of it. So what they do is they spin and then flip it into another jurisdiction. So now the North American Union thing is coming back under the guise of something referred to as the Keystone Pipeline. But the funny thing is, when you do the research that happened last week with Tornado Alley, and if you look at where the proposed pipeline is supposed to go, I don't know about you, but when you overlay the map, so the disaster map as well as the Keystone map, it basically all of the areas that's been getting hit in the Midwest are consistent with this area of pipeline that they're trying to stretch all the way through Canada, all the way up through Texas, and hopefully with a jump-off point in Mexico. So to do this, what they want to do is terraform the United States and turn it into a split district, meaning that they have an eastern and a western district. This is just some of the plans that they have been instituting, and I'm looking at the things that are happening and how they're, in essence, corroborating it. So, again, when you do the diligence yourself and you do the research yourself, you see what I'm saying. And when you overlap these maps on top of each other in terms of the destruction path or the path of destruction and actually where the actual pipeline is supposed to be firmly rooted, you will see that they both in the same place. So I don't know about you, but those things are not coincidences. Those things are actual occurrences, which means that they had a premeditated value. And that value is to destabilize and disenfranchise as many, quote-unquote, Americans out of their given territory by a certain time. And that time is by September of this year, because they want to get everything in line for what's coming down on December. So they need to get as much as is popping by the third month of Jason, which is September. But again, those people who don't remember, Jason represents not only the Jason Society that nobody really talks about, but are the main scientific and financial backers of most of the Monsanto stuff, of most of the IBM stuff, of most of the stuff that is used to specifically genocide you. Jason also stands for July, August, September. Testament. July, August, September, October, November. So these are the heaviest ritual months for them to do whatever it is they do, and this is when they take place. So specifically speaking, this is what's popping right now. And again, you got to sometimes look at the subtleties and the patterns of what's going on. Another thing that's going on is your man Zimmerman got out of jail. So me personally, I see this going two ways. Because his mother's Peruvian and his father was a Jew, they are basically classifying him as white, right? But technically, he's a Hispanic. He's Hispanic, right? Technically, if you go by his mother's lineage. But because his father's a Jew and his father's been cleaning up after him from when he beat up the black cop and all the other stuff or whatever, what I think has been going on is this boy has been being groomed to be this pseudo-white supremacist, this pseudo-white supremacist, even though they've been trying to inject Nazism amongst the Hispanic community for, the past 7 years? All of that started with the whole MS-13 initiation where they had to go in, the Nazi MS-13 had to go into black communities and start killing black men and black women and black babies. This was all instigated, again, through those brothers and sisters that got caught up in Guantanamo Bay, because what they're not telling you is that they were taking American citizens, specifically gang leaders and different members from different gang organizations, and locking them up on Guantanamo, putting screws in them, and then letting them go back into the communities and create to help foment this race war thing. You know what I mean? This is real shit, man. And again, this is the stuff that nobody really wants to deal with. Nobody really wants to deal with it because, again, that's the issue. Another issue I see coming down the pipe behind this is the fact that because this dude was acquitted like that, this may turn into some shit where he may actually get off, because now they're starting to put pictures of him out there with a bloody head and all of this other stuff. So it could look a little different. Shawnee can watch him up. Get this later. Why don't you let the help you when it's good?
Do you know how to bake this?
Yeah, he did it before.
Okay.
What he's here for. So, specifically speaking, this thing is basically picking up steam. Also, the fact that most of the pictures of left the dead Trayvon's pops and moms in the Mason and Easter Star gear, for some reason, is starting to disappear off the net. I don't know if y'all peeped that, but I've been peeping it. And these things together are culminating in who's Sean? So specifically speaking, this is what's basically coming down for everybody to start to deal with. You know what I mean? And the possibility of this race war is more consistent with their ideas in terms of them trying to lock down America itself. Now, all of this is contingent upon you and I and white folk and other people buying into the shit and looking at the forest for the trees. You know what I'm saying? This is all contingent upon your belief in the action. You are in right now, everybody in the United States that has watched this thing happen from the beginning to now, you have to realize that you are now in a intelligence operation. You are an not an operative, but you are a subject in. You are in this operation, and they, whether or not you realize it or not, whether or not you want to believe it or not, whatever, you down, stay down with it. And there's this quiet blacklist going on of anybody in our community who is really speaking about it that is not affiliated with any so-called organization in that sense. And the way I know this is that, like, sometimes when you're conscious, you could get around other people who are supposedly conscious, and they can see just how not conscious they really are when you're around. That has been the story of my life, right? And I'm not saying this to big myself up or make me seem smart and nobody else. I'm keeping it real with you. Most of the people in my life that has come into my life to actually, quote-unquote, be friends or supposed to be cool or whatever, I don't see half of these people now. Why? Not because, again, I did something or necessarily they did something, but because when you start to raise your octave to a certain vibration and you don't allow bullshit to occupy your mind and occupy your mouth. And every time you speak, you speaking something or whatever, you got to understand that most people don't like that shit, especially niggas who act like they conscious, especially people who act like they on your level. They don't. They don't like it. They don't like when you are able to build on something and have a conviction about something and stick to it regardless of whether or not it's popular or not. The real reason why that we can talk with the level of opportunity that we talk, to keep it real with you, is because I didn't join up with none of these groups. I didn't pledge no order. I didn't cut no chicken to get down with shit. I didn't cut somebody's throat to get this knowledge. I didn't pimp hundreds of people who did that. I didn't do that. So what you got to understand is that when you're dealing with grimy people, you got to have a little bit, you got to have a little dirt on you for them to trust you. Any undercover pig will tell you that. So because there's no heavy stories out there, the only stories out there exist with me is I don't fuck with third people. That's really it. I never still know why. I don't do half the shit that most of these people that in the mainstream and in our quote unquote community is doing to drastic levels. But what I'm peeping,
have some people in the mainstream now came out after you started doing lectures and speaking in public, because young people, and especially the people that you were around when you first started, it inspires and it triggers other people to think that they can do the same thing. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I grew up with him, I went to school with him, I know him, I can do the same thing. Fuck that, I'm that, I can do it, I'm it. And then that's when I noticed there was elders, and then like one young person when Aseer started doing public speaking. And I told Aseer based on his chart, I said, your chart, you trigger the minds of other people to feel as though they can do what you do. And there's great inspiration and great positivity about that, and it could also be a denouement. It could also be a negative.
But guess what? Nobody could do what I do. I'm that secure in myself, in my purse, in my spirit, in my soul to say that. Nobody is doing what I'm doing. Because I'm the only nigga that's out here telling people that you don't got to do shit to sell your soul to get in. What? So in that, but because of that, we have created a situation where there's a hedge of protection. There's a hedge of protection around us, but there's also like a repulsor array around us too. So whether I know it or not, there are certain channels that exist within mainstream or whatever, who only pay attention to us. When I say us, I mean all of us in the conscious community. And they're waiting for us to see what we're going to do. So in order to get it proper in a way and to veer things the way they want to veer it, they want you to look at this thing more like a hip-hop thing, like it's a straight-up hip-hop thing, even though, yeah, we do music and all of that, right? And, yes, we are of the hip-hop generation. But, again, I'm not, in a sense, we're not here to make, let's say, mainstream hip-hop. If you're going to do that shit, you're going to have to do it the way P.E. and the rest of these niggas were doing it back in the days. But guess what? Even they, to some level or degree, were down with certain shit that was going on. Because if they wasn't, then why would somebody like Chuck D go on a show called Air America, knowing that Air America was the name of the CIA drug front that they was pumping the drugs in and out of Laos through in the Vietnam War?
That don't really matter, though.
That destroyed whole generations of black families, right? So because we talk about this type of shit and most black people want to be, quote-unquote, progressive, these are the terms now that black people are starting to use with each other to make it seem like there's a different echelon in our community. Do you notice that whenever original people, whenever original people start coming up and they start doing certain things and they try to keep something for themselves, the first thing they want to do is try to figure out how they're going to mainstream it and then bring it to everybody because everybody needs to be a part of it. But guess what? When white folks do that, they don't do that for you. They don't care if you go to their movie or not because they know you're going to go. Whether they got a black man or black woman in it or not, you still going to support it. Whether or not, do you think when they write stories or whatever, when they wrote Hunger Games, like in the story Hunger Games, they wrote the story with the two black characters in it. White folks, so racist, they read the story and looked at the two characters as dark-skinned Caucasians, right? Then, when it turned out that they casted black people in it, you had a whole underground Facebook community of white folk that was dissing the shit, that was twittering about it, calling them niggas, all of that. All of that. We just had another instance the other day where they just killed another black woman. dragged out of the car, police dragged out the car, killed her, right? So what are we supposed to do? Are we not supposed to discuss that? And if we do discuss these things and we do get to the brass roots of it all, why is it when you say, hey, these white people is killing us, or hey, these black people is killing us, and it's the truth, your own black people are the ones that kind of wince and be like, that's a little bit too much. I don't really want to. It's like, what do you niggas stand for, man? It's like, what do you think these elders and these people came before God for, man? For you to be progressive? Do you know what progressive means in a political context? No, most of these black people don't. Show and prove what I'm saying. We're coming out with this book, this comic book novel, and there are different black, quote-unquote, black establishments that we want to, you know what I mean, be a part of and come through and say what's up and vend and whatever, just like anybody else, with anybody else's stuff, right? So I got a comic and all this. So there's one in particular, one of the biggest ones that's quote-unquote for black people, right? So I email these dudes, hey, my name is Aseer the Duke of Tears. I got a company for morally correct mediums. I know that you have this convention going on. Hold up, you know you got this convention going on, and I would just like to be a part of it because we got a book coming out, and I would just like if you could send me some of the vending information, right? So these people email me back. No, I'm going to let you read the response. Email me back talking about, oh, well, we went on your website and looked at your stuff, and you don't really fit the venue that we want to get in. Now, mind you, this is an all-black, quote-unquote, convention for black folk, right? Comic book convention for black folk. They tell me in the email, yo, well, you know, we looked at the content of your website and all that, and it's a little cool, but it's not really for the standards of what we want to do. Good luck in the future for your shit. So I write back and say, well, hey, that's cool, but that's not, the material on my website is not what I'm trying to sell at the Honest Con. I told you that I just wrote this book or whatever.
I'm just wanted to talk about it in an organized fashion because I think people really need to know exactly what was said because it's so funny, and this is sharing. I got to share it with you. This is the point, though. This is exactly what Aseer said because you would think, based on their response, we said something more. Listen. Greetings to who it may concern. My name is Aseer the Duke of Tears, and my company is called Morally Correct Mediums. We would like a vendor's table at the Onyx Con. Would someone from your establishment please send me some information in an application, please? My email is blah, 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 blah. Thank you for your time. This is what they wrote. Thank you for your interest in Onyxcon. Our vendors committee has carefully reviewed your company's website, merchandise for sale, and related. It was determined that your company's products do not, at this time, fit the goals or particular focus interests of our event. We do hope you will attend OnyxCon in August. Thank you for your interest, and we wish your business continued prosperity. So I'm like, okay, but how do they even know what I'm selling, and how do they even go to my website, and how do they even make this determination when I didn't even lead them to my website, nor did I tell them what my goals were. All I said is, this is my company. You heard it. So this is what I wrote because, you know, I had the thing. I wrote back. Hold on. I said this. This is what I responded. Thanks for your timely response. My website does not sell any of what I like to sell at the OnyxCon. I just finished a 638-page graphic novel entitled The Dark Scroll 418, and that is not on my website at all. I would like to further discuss these matters so that I'm not just blacklisted for something you haven't even seen yet. What I do on my personal website has nothing to do with OnyxCon. I don't plan on selling anything but my book and some posters. Thanks, Aseer the Duke of Tears. Then this is what they wrote me. Upon receiving your initial response to our review of your website, which we do review for any potential vendor as a reflection of our business character, because this is a legal and common business practice, you mentioned your comic book project for the first time in your communication. No, I didn't. And then they go, we had no prior acknowledgement of this. Okay, so why would you say I mentioned it if you had no prior acknowledgement? Then they go, furthermore, your response was aggressive and defensive, not acceptable. I answered you with 2 lines. Thanks for your timely response. My website doesn't sell what I like to sell at OnyxCon. So I'm like, oh, they know it's here. And this is what people do when they know it's here and don't want them around, don't want them near you, but we want to still act like we're down for you. Then we had To improve understanding in this regard, we offer the important information. Then they went in on how they based their decision. We based our decision on what was available about your creative identity online. No, about your creative identity online, statistically, professionally, packaging of your current associated works, orientation, general content. Then they're bolding it. Please understand that it's an institution. We seek material that fits our brand, and we have the right to and will determine what vendors and associates help aid the brand for OnyxCon, changing it, our brand, and associates to whomever, whatever institutions we see fit, no exceptions. Then they said, we in no way are limited to representing artist communities of the conventional positions of mainstream or underground. OnyxCon is OnyxCon, and we have boundaries. And then they said, each and every vendor is weighed in on professional reputation and general character. Our audience is not limited to any particular cultural/ethnic identity. How are you even telling me your whole goddamn theory on OnyxCon when I just asked for a damn application? Because I used the main words and said, hey, I just hope that I'm not blacklisted for something that y'all don't even see yet. You haven't even seen it yet. No, we are blacklisting you because we know your name, and even though OnyxCon is BlackCon, we can't do anything with black people. We can't act like we to anything. Who the fuck is there taking pictures of vendors, talking about this doesn't fit OnyxCon's business rapport? Nigga, y'all have that shit in the gymnasium. We just want to come because it's a place where a lot of black folk collate and come together at one time.
But it's progressive.
That's funny. That's what we wrote. So I laughed because two sentences, when you're direct and when you're like, what are you talking about? I just finished a book. I'm not trying to sell what you think I do on my website. Plus, who gives a fuck?
But wait. When you start talking about my online character and all this other shit, so what? My character is not good? Like what? I don't have no face in the community? What, people don't know me? Like, is that what you're trying to say? No, what you're trying to say is, hey, nigga, you a little bit too militant, a little bit too black for this OnyxCon shit. And because we're trying to go mainstream, we want to, you know what I'm saying, we don't want too many of the niggas that, you know, bring a certain degree of attention. Now, I know damn well everybody that's been to OnyxCon, I know niggas that's there. I've gone, okay? So I'm just using this as an example, again, because I can only use myself in my own situations. I can't speak for nobody else, and I can only speak of what's going on. So when I'm speaking of myself for the example of saying what it is, I'm showing and proving to you that sometimes your convictions will precede you. And because a lot of these niggas that's in these situations are trying to upgrade, and because a lot of these niggas is involved with some of the same groups that we be blasting on Super Heru, I feel like these people knew and was like, nah, we ain't fucking, we can't have the Duke up in there. And that's fine. But keep it real with me and say that that's what it is. Hey, we know who you are. You a little bit too blah, blah, blah. Keep it moving. I don't like the fake shit. I don't like the shit in which you saying a lot. You're showing me a lot of shit. And you're saying a lot, but it's not adding up to what it is I asked you. So, again, when you practice active listening and you start to know and what's going on with your people, what we need to really come to grips with and understand is who of us is going to be down, who of us is willing to go all the way with this shit, man? Because as I'm seeing it now, mainstream America is phasing you out. Mainstream America, as much as you are producing for it, black people, as much as you are striving to still be involved in it, as much as you think integration and Dr. King and marching and all this shit was really going to come down or really going to show and prove something, it's not. What's really going on is that they're killing you wholesale. What's really going on is that they've already factored you out. What's really going on is you got a black president that ain't never do nothing for no black people. Nothing for no black people since he done been in, right? But the first chance he gets to start talking about how you niggas ain't shit and how you niggas is shifty and how you niggas ain't getting your shit together, that's the first thing worldwide he pumping, right? White people don't have no problem when he come and shit on you, but when he said that Trayvon could have been his son, then it was a problem. Because what that is to say that he looks at himself as a black man. And he can only be the type of black man that we want him to be. Now, how many times have you, black man, black woman, been in situations where you have been in the same type of shit, where you ain't do nothing to nobody? You just showing up to get the job, and it's almost like niggas done called ahead and was like, nah, don't let that nigga in. I'm not paranoid. I'm not making this shit up. I'm not a hateful person. I don't hate nobody. I don't have to hate nobody because the Creator filled me up with so much love for myself, my family, my people, that it just seemed like I'm hating on niggas that I don't really talk about other people in a certain light. But again, this is what I mean about conviction, original people. We live in a society of up-talkers. You know what up-talking is? That's for somebody who's always talking up like this, and they always will do it, and they always building, and whenever they ask you a question, it seems like they're just kind of talking in a way where they don't really have any real conviction behind what they're saying, but it's a way that everybody can be involved, and everybody can feel like nobody's being threatened. Bullshit. That's political correctness, which was created to retard real society. The political correctness is what's fostering the racism now. The progressive black people are the ones that's fostering the racism now, because these are the niggas that's still becoming police, that's still joining the army, that's still joining up with political organizations, knowing damn well that they're not doing anything for you. You think it's easy to stand up and be like, no, I'm not going to be involved with that? Because the reason why black people do that and feel like that is because in the end, they feel like they ain't going to get supported by their own people. And if you don't believe me, ask Steve Coakley, bless the dead. Where was the community for them 8 days that he was just out there willy-nilly? Nobody knew nothing. Only his immediate family. Where is the institution and the infrastructure that exists in our society that if, God forbid, something like that happened to one of our elders and our scholars going out, that we would have some sort of protection and somebody could come and check for them? Where's that established in your community? How is that progressive? If you don't have that in community, then you're not progressive. Again, I'm trying to sell comic books. I'm trying to sell a comic book. It's a black comic book to black people, and the black comic book convention is like, nah, that's a little bit too black for us. That's not progressive enough for us. So I guess in order to be progressive, I got to do a comic book about Martin Luther King or one of these other sellout boule Freemasons that they got us in the position that we in, and then I can be in, right? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. So again, family, Super Heru, I'm telling you that when you are a real Super Heru and you really are sticking by your convictions and you're doing what you know the Creator put in your heart to do, you're going to have obstacles from everybody, especially people that look like you. Like you screaming now? Like what the Like niggas act like this shit is head. That's what I'm trying to say. My brother has it.
Hello, Peace Super Heru family. This Nello Maxwell. What's good? This is Rashawn Rogers. When I was given initially the vendor pass, or rather the vendor information from OnyxCon, I was actually asked by the guy who runs OnyxCon because he saw my artwork on his friend's page or a friend of a friend or what have you, and he was like, "Oh, I'm impressed with your stuff. I want you to come through." I vet this protocol and these procedures and everything, all of this, this jargon that's corporate America jargon. I had not heard this before, so I honestly do not know what exactly they're talking about. I have no idea where this came from. It sounds like the management, or they got they mainstreaming, or they got some new some kind of new protocol, or was cutting their checks or whatever, was saying, hey, you got to do this. I don't know what it was, but all of this brand new stuff, it's kind of not. It's not. I don't understand it. And I'm speaking, to be honest, as a fellow comic book creator, as my brother's brother. If people are saying, oh, we don't represent any particular ethnicity, this, that, and the third, if we can't have a forum where we can speak, that's why I shout out places like Black Science Fiction Society, because we can speak there and say, yo, I disagree with this, or these are my views. You could post the truth over there. Now everybody want to get corporate and brand new, and oh, well, how can we follow, white people, and how can we follow Jewish people and all this other stuff? How can we get their money, and how can we do this? Everybody got to have a protocol and some kind of whatever the case is, and it's like, where did this come out? I thought we were trying to do something for ourselves, but I guess it's, somebody cut them a check and said, y'all niggas need to shut up, or need to stop. So maybe I shouldn't call it OnyxCon no more, because Onyx is black last time I checked. Maybe I should call it, Progressive Con or Rainbow Con or some other shit with some other colors that are in there, because
Artist Con.
Because like, if y'all not gonna be for black people, then you might as well not be a convention, because there's NYC Comic Con, there's San Diego Comic Con, Wizard World. Have you heard of these places where people really go to play big guns? Because I know about those. I intern for Marvel. So you if you want to really try to be cutting edge, you should probably do it for your own people. Right. Just saying. Just being honest. All right.
And to keep it real with you, just to show the juxtaposition of shit. Just to show you the juxtaposition. So I email the white Comic Con, and these niggas send me everything. These niggas send me everything. What I need to do, how much I need to pay, where my booth will be, all of that. So what's really going on, man? What's really going on? Am I whack for bringing this to the family's attention? Am I whack? Because to keep it real with you, I don't want to be down with it now. You know what I'm saying? Because to keep it real, it's like I'm black, but I ain't black like that. You know what I mean? I want some quality black shit. You know what I mean? And you got to start to be on that. That's what I'm starting to see with the shit. Because when you nice and you humble and all of that, you can be that in your heart. But it comes a certain time where you got to stand up and boss up on these people. Because if you don't, they will constantly take your kindness for weakness, and they'll have you running races that ain't got no finish line. You understand? They're going to keep you in a constant race to make you show and prove what you're going to say about your people. Can't nobody tell me I don't got no damn presence on the internet. Nobody could tell me that as much hits as we get. And that's with no advertising. That's with little or no help from anybody else in the community. That's with a shoestring budget. That's with Blog Talk shutting the show down every other week. So, again, just keep it real. Just say you don't want me there, and that's fine. And, again, I would email and call these people back, but you know what? That's that, dude. That's that, dude, because my shit is going to blow regardless. And I'm going to hook black people up regardless. You understand? So don't start falling into these multicultural terms to get you to turn your back on your people, man. Step away from terms like progressive. Step away from terms like multicultural. Step away from terms like inclusive. Step away from terms like integration. That's the shit that's putting nails in Trayvon's coffin and the rest of our elders, Steve Koch and the rest of these niggas that they've been killing, that nobody in our community can do nothing about. Why? Because we don't have nothing for ourselves in our community to protect us. These niggas killed Trayvon based on the neighborhood watch. His own neighborhood watch from his community is what killed him. And the majority of people in that community are white folk. So, again, where was his body for them 3 days that it was missing, that his parents is calling back and forth to the police precinct trying to find out where he at? Where was his body at? I bet you Dick Cheney know. You know what I'm saying? But, again, this is the type of shit that they don't like you as a black man or black woman to do. Anytime that you stand up and say anything in an octave that's higher than a whisper, you are the angry black man. You are the angry white woman. But the minute you talk about racism, they say, oh, see, you're playing a race card. Oh, see, you're using your race against me. What kind of duplicitous double standard shit are we living in and are consistently staying in it like it's cool? This is the way to go. Like, this is what it means to be black in America. No, it's not, man. It's not. You shouldn't have to live in a society where you're scared of the police and the fact that they could just kill you with impunity at any moment. That is not right. That is not a real society. That's a jail. And they got these people living in plantations acting like they free. And then they got these black people, like I said, making these pseudo-progressive, quote-unquote, statements and pseudo-intellectual branding notes and commentaries, and they don't even know what they're talking about. Half of the shit, half of the, I'm going to watch it out, man. No, it doesn't, Selena. Why don't you go sit down, Selena? Sit down, Selena. No, you don't, Selena. Sit down. You see how you're not listening? I'm going to get it, Mom. I'm going to do it right now.
I'm trying to help you, honey.
You think so?
When it's cold, you have to get the boys some greens to the bowl, man.
Selena.
You have it?
Yes. Queen's not feeling well. It's a situation, like I said, guys, where we are being targeted, totally targeted, where we are being picked off one by one. And those of us, again, who have the convictions to sin, you think Bill Clinton could have really set up shop in Harlem if Khalid Muhammad was alive? You really think that? You really think that people like Farrakhan and these people would be in the position they in, if people like Malcolm, people like Father Allah, and these people was alive? You really think so? Right when when Michael King started coming out and keeping it real, right? And keeping it real and telling people, hey, well, I feel like we're being integrated into a burning house. And, yeah, we got some sick white brothers out there, but we got to do what we got to do until we can have something for ourselves. This is what this man was speaking before they killed him. You understand? And quiet as it's kept, that's not happening. I'm not going out like that. Keep it real with you, because as it stands, the one thing that I'm peeping in all of these circumstances is the fact that when this shit went down, nobody was there with these people, man. Nobody was holding them down like they were supposed to. So what that says is one has no people, then one cannot be betrayed. That comes from a book called the Book of Leaves, called the Hagakure. Everybody want to talk about Sun Tzu. That's the bullshit, because Sun Tzu is a Jesuit. How about that? You want to get the real shit? Go get the Book of Leaves. Read that. Go get the Book of Rings. Read that. When you really want to get into to quote-unquote war, all these people, you know how many times I've seen niggas in the conscious community going in, screaming, going in on this one, screaming on this one, pulling out gas, all this other shit? Where them niggas at right now? Chilling with the same people that they was beefing with and the same people that they were telling you not to listen to. And I'm crazy? No. No. That's not what's going on. Exactly. My brother just showed me the straight up joint from the owner of the thing. Send him a letter talking about, I want you to come personally. So what happened in a year? You know what I'm saying? What happened from that point to now? And I'm sorry. My homie, my brother, Saga, told me the other day. He was like, I was out here or whatever in New York and we was chilling or whatever, and niggas was showing me mad love and all of that, and then I hooked up with a dude and he was building or whatever, and then once the dude who introduced me to him or whatever found out that I was his brother, your brother is like this nigga's whole mood switch. He's like, he just started playing me like to the left, like I was whack or some shit. So then I started, so I was like, word? He's like, yeah. He said, my man noticed this shit too. I'm like, well, what's the nigga name? So he told me. I was like, well, I know that dude. I said, well, we ain't had no problem. I ain't never had no problem with this person. But again, it don't matter, because this person is one of these so-called integrationist black niggas who basically hook up with niggas who basically was on some 5% shit till niggas got out of college. And then once niggas got out of college, it became all about integration. Let's join the hipster culture, start a company, start using the white girls to promote our shit, and now we blown up. But because that's what we are now, I can't be totally about this other, stuff that I was on when it was all about peace, God, peace, earth, all this other shit. Hold on.
Plus, I don't have any locks in the front of my head, and this guy does, and I was said I got to wear a hat every day, and he doesn't. And my ex-girl was in love with him, and it annoyed me, and we all knew about it back in the day. These are all the bitch-ass niggas that got dough now that are trying to run shit. They don't get it's just funny, because the same niggas, that one nigga exists in the same, like, in mad other people. But as we talk about those people, I can also talk about, angels and guardians and mad people coming into our lives that are just thankful that we are keeping a clear delineation as to what's, really real. It's very hard to talk about stuff that people are like, shh. You're just really creating a lot of drama. Yes, and get permission to and get support, and are like, wow, you're so courageous. Black people, why are you bringing up emotions in me that I'm not ready to confront? Same thing. Oh, you run and you do yoga and tennis, but
I don't have the energy to do that, so fuck you for lifting your leg. Like, that this is where we are, and that's why I told my friend the other day, I said, our black folk ain't gonna make it. Black people ain't gonna make it. I don't even, that whole communal, not all of them, no, not 90% of them. Maybe 10% at this point, because 90% are under the illusion of the 85 corporate zone that is just, gotta make money for this nigga. If I say anything, I'll lose my job. I know, we stand for something. You can sing it because I'm going to juice it. It's okay. I got to juice the ginger. It's weird, too. It's like one day my brother-in-law comes from New York. Thank God it's here. And it's like my body just shut down. It was finally like, great, 3 years of, just working and no more than 4 or 5 hours to sleep because every little noise wakes me up. Like, I know parents go through this, but they have, cousins. And I told this year, I was like, being married to you is the best thing. It's wonderful. But I didn't think that it was going to be this isolating. So, like, I knew that it was because I felt it in the beginning, but I didn't actually know. Like, yo, if you're around him, a lot of people ain't going to want to fuck with you, Selena. Like, and it's so fucked up. The thing is, it's not for swindling or fucking somebody's girl or whatever. It's just for being that pretty nigga that says shit that these ugly, faggot motherfuckers don't have the heart to say, because at the end of the day, it's easier to be friends with everybody because this group shit is just, it's comfortable. It's comfortable. Like, how the same just comes to me talking about, yo, son, everything that you do, God, I sat there every day, like, in a room and just studied this shit for, like, 12 hours. So, yo, come and check my shit. Or support me. And it's like, son, how much could I support my student when my student still has dots to connect? Like, I'm going to support you, but I can't, like, honestly lie and say that I listen to niggas that learn from Aseer, because there's only a couple people that have taken it a little further. And then fuck Aseer, fuck what he's done, and fuck all of it. At the end of the day, I'm amazed that when people are convicted and they do stand for something, I feel like, our marriage has become more an institution as well of what we stand for in the community. Like, even if I wanted to leave this nigga because he was whack, I wouldn't, and I can't, because he stands for something that is so courageous and amazing to me, to open your mouth and say, nah, you know what it is? It's the way the system is set up. It's for these white folks. These white folks fucked it up, and we fucked it up by allowing them to fuck it up. And then, so all of that even when he would talk about it back in 1999, I would see how much, oh my gosh, brother, you answered. And at the same token, it can be troubling for people, because it's like, you can't go to sleep with the same, conscience that you once returned to bed with, because knowing is great, but ignorance is very blissful. It can be. And I say that to say that's why I think a lot of other people rise real quick, because they're not really giving, the full scope of it. And people always like nibbling. They love nibbling and snacking on knowledge. It's like going to yoga, standing in the studio and just staring at yourself in the mirror and talking about, ooh, or walking around the gym and, just looking at everybody working out and sitting out of the machine and doing 10 reps. Like, you're not working out. You're profiling. But the gym is there for profilers. It's not really there for people that want to sweat and work out. If you do that, you almost shut the shit down in the gym and niggas looking at you like, yo, son, you're going in hard. No, I'm working out. I'm sweating. You come to the gym to profile, walk around, catch numbers, show niggas your fat ass, show people, this is, but that's to say that's not wrong. I just realized that that's the way society in the world is set up. Like, to the point that, sorry, it's just Aseer and I, a friend of mine on the beach, elder Spanish man, he was like, you took a cab to Walmart? I said, I take a cab to Walmart every month since the Publix closed down over here. He was like, with as much people as know you can't. I said, we know a lot of people, but nobody asks us if we need a ride anywhere. Nobody calls and just is like, yo, I see you in the street with, your groceries and your kid and your this and your that, and I'll drop by, yo, you changed my life, and keep it moving. And this is what I mean. I tell us here, I say, this is great what you do, but these niggas will eat you alive if you allow them. So let somebody else that wants to be eaten alive be they bitch and be their little fucking puppet, and let them all work underneath each other. And, oh, you do it, you're like it's Jesus. When somebody started telling me, yo, your husband is like Jesus to me, I told us, it's time to move out of fucking New York. These niggas is crazy. Jesus? Oh, we won't even talk about who it is because I don't give a fuck. If one person threw your tape in the garbage, trust you me, 10 other niggas did the same thing with no heart. At least a nigga that did it in front of me, I could say, oh, nigga, you got heart today. That's cute. It's cute. You got heart selling my shit on the street with the $300. It's like, that's when, raise the bar, Selena. Don't make these people's business your own. Don't make other people's business and finding out how people feel and how people are processing shit your own business, because it will take away from the integrity and from the true sound vibration and from where you are. Don't constantly think. But it's not to say that I'm not aware. Like, mad people will be around and nobody, it'll be, I could ask, but why would I ask someone, you know the public's this thing and you see, niggas don't help unless you speak up. But when I speak up, people are like, yes, this here wants help for me. I'm going to get this nigga in my debt. I'm going to treat him. I'm going to make him sit in the car and talk to me for 2 hours. So I say, you know what, let's just fucking save some money and spend $60 in a cab coming home because we don't have a car yet. And rather than complaining about not having a car yet, I'm going to be thankful that I can save my money once a month and take a cab home. And I'm going to be thankful that I don't have to, act like I owe you my lifeline because you drove me to Walmart and I paid you for gas. Like, I be paying people for everything around here. Oh, good looking. They never come through, son. Never. And that's when I started saying, these people love us and there's true supporters and then there's this niggas that's going to be on the outskirts or some, we really appreciate what you do, but real talk, you make me feel like a fucking faggot in my 9-to-5 life because you live in this shit so real, God. So real that why don't you support me? You could still live your 9-to-5 life. No, you're not, because we don't have the money yet. So it's still very much like it still looks selfish because people don't see the rainbow arc of what I see living with you every day, which is the size, the content, the caliber, the quality. It's like, there's not a lot of Octavia Butlers, Stephen Kings of our time. And to know one in the living is really humbling for me. But at the same token, the shit could have been out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We just didn't have any money. So it's always, you just don't have any money. Black people have all the genius of the world. We just don't have anybody to fund it. So what do black people do? They get up underneath a white boy and almost, or they take an oath to say, look, I'm going to uphold X, Y, and Z and make sure that when I make it, I keep it real, but to a degree. And I say that to say I'm sick as a dog. Juice, smoothies, ginger has nothing to do with that. It's 3 years of having nobody to just pick up something that they see fell on the floor for me. It's like you around me, but when people come around me, it's like I end up just being like a goat. It's so weird. I'm like, how is it everybody that comes through my house and my life and my door just add on to the work factor in my life? They never are like, oh, my God, you guys don't have any time to yourself. Lay down. Take a weekend off. Let me go and take a more. No. And I wouldn't even do it because, I don't pawn my kid off on people. I love the boy to death, but I want to be alive and healthy and not be nervous and not have nervous energy because since colic breastfeeding days, it's been 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours maybe. It's exhausting. Shawnee came, I just broke down. Like, what fever, tonsils, done. My body shut down because finally somebody's around that I could be like, okay, Aseer can have some help. If I go to bed, it's not like, he can't work, create PowerPoint presentations, have a show Monday and Friday that he keeps things creative for to charge 10 other blog talk shows. He can't do all of that and mop and take care of the baby and draw the bath and mop the floor and keep shit cool and tell me I look pretty and answer all your questions because people call just on some whatever. He's a hotline and whatever. He's just here for me to air my grievances out because these niggas stole my money. And can you believe these Moors and can you believe these toxic? I sometimes want to say, you had to believe it, you fucking idiot. Why did you fucking give them your fucking money when these little niggas couldn't answer a question and would never answer your phone? Because people like that shit. That's just what they like. They like half-ass niggas. So I'm like, fuck OnyxCon, son. I don't even have to fuck that shit. I could stand outside of OnyxCon, and more niggas will be outside my table than in OnyxCon. And that's when the security will come and say, you're creating diversion. You're creating no, nigga, because I can still gravitate people at my table because when you are the sun, you can attract it anywhere. You don't have to be anywhere but in your own vessel, your own body. And I'm like, you know what? These niggas, I'm trying to work on a vibration where niggas, I don't even, straight up, people say to me, you know, I'm not really looking to make friends. I don't really have time. I'll be like, great. Because I was going to use all my kindness to show you that I love you and I'm here for you. But you're used to healing people that are broken. You want to be around people that are hurt and that have institutional problems and that, you know, have been fucked out of their mouth. Some people would rather be around people that have problems and be around somebody that can love them and don't want to take nothing from them. And I'm done. I'm done with trying to wait and look for the answer and look for the gold where I see the gold exist. I'm like, nah, I'm just going to stay golden and rock my truth so hard that you're either going to not want to be a part of it or you're going to be like, wow, thank you. I want to contribute to that, and how can I do that? I am so not the selfish one. But at the same token, I'm not giving it away to anybody for free no more, yo. I'm done.
Okay, now you should rest your throat now. Take your bath, whatever. So, yeah, you know, everything the Queen said and more, because this is what it is. And because this is the forum that we have chosen to be able to speak on the things that have affected us, that really us as a template are here to do what we send. So when I say that I'm out here researching and doing the knowledge, and I say that I'm doing this for those, I'm doing it for those of us that can't do it, for those of us who can't sit at home and do that type of shit and read and get books and have to steal books out the library and all of this. Whereas with these white boys, people like Daniel Mack, do you know that Daniel Mack, he wrote a book called The Essential Kabbalah. It's not half bad. Out of all the translations, modern translations, this is one of the better ones. Anyway, you know Madonna bumped this dude off with over $15 million, so all he needs to do is just sit home and translate the Zohar. This is what I mean about these crackers. As much as people don't like them and all that other shit, what I'm saying with them is that they organize. Because like I said, with evil, when it comes down to evil, it's organized, and that's why it works. Because it's because it's a draconian level of protocol. If you don't follow the instructions like this, then you're dead. Yaqub was successful because he did not build prison houses for his people. If one person disobeyed the laws, off with their head. This is also what's destroying America as a country, because the prison system has reached such epic proportions that now the prisoners are the ones making all of your fucking $1,000 clothes. You know that they're trying to work out a privatization thing with De Beers and Lloyds of London and the South African diamond mine, where they can start to import diamonds so that way they can teach prisoners how to start to cut them and make them small and then bring them out to the market. They are basically trying to get everyone in jail, black, white, Asian, it don't matter. The more you're in jail, the more slave labor we got. And those of you that's not smart enough to go to jail to how we want, then we'll Trayvon you, or we'll Abner Louima you, or we'll Rodney King you, or we'll anything. Why is it that whenever names of rich or certain black people come up, there's always some sort of pain injected with that? And why is it that we're the only ones outraged? Why is it that we're the only ones who come here and just go in on this shit, and these other niggas is talking all of this crazy shit? And ain't nobody stepping them. Ain't nobody shutting these people down. And this is the thing that's strangling our community. How are we going to get together as a people and we can't even decide what flag we want to use? Like I said before, Moors is talking all of this shit from the MSTSA and all of these other Moorish groups or whatever. Okay, which one of y'all has the true right to the vexillology of the so-called continental flag? Because as it stands on paper right now, the white man owns that flag. So again, if he's still on paper that he owns it and you walking around saying that this is the flag that represents you in treaty, then that means that you in a treaty with him. But how could you be in a treaty with him when at the time the treaties was being written out, he did not have a nation, an organization, money, nothing to be able to even come into the agreement. He didn't have nothing. How can any black person, any original man, original woman who live in America right now look themselves in the mirror and say that this is the life that we're supposed to be living? Are you crazy? So what do black people do? We tune out. There's certain black people who, it's not that they don't like me. It's just the shit I'm talking about is a little bit too direct. They'd rather the indirect shit. They'd rather go around and have to speculate who it is and research and figure it out No, I'm not going to do all of that, man. All of that shit is done, man. All of that's done. They tell you niggas to claim a nationality for a nation that has not been in a particular function since 1791. Like I said, when you read the Moorish Quran, you ain't never read no sovereignty, no word sovereignty in there. It only appears in one place, and that's in the 26th chapter. And in that, it's in context referring to God. But you'll never hear these people talk about the Creator because they don't believe in that. Again, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about the Great Spirit. I'm talking about the shit that incarnated through you to get you here. If any black person is denying that, then that means that you're not that. You're not black. I was watching some interview the other day with one of these actresses chicks, and they was Zoe Saldana, one of these chicks, and they was talking about somebody black or whatever. And she was talking about how she was, Afro-Latina, and she was black and all that. I bugged out. I was like, yo, I didn't know this girl thought she was black. Like, every time I turn around and see these chicks with white girls or white dudes. And again, this ain't a judgment. This is an assessment based upon a consistent level of visual imagery. If you are constantly bombarded with negative imagery about who you are every day, white folks don't have to get up and think about what it's like to be the only white person, be the only Caucasian person in the class or in the community. They don't ever think about that. So how could they then create a society to integrate with you? How could they do that when their whole society was based upon it kicking you out of it, taking your history from it? You think niggas is making comic books about that? No. But guess what? I'm is. And again, don't mistake my passion for anger or frustration. Yeah, I could be a little frustrated, but I speak with conviction because I'm not an up-talker. And again, we spoke about earlier what up-talking is. Up-talking was introduced through the Valley Girl system through Malibu, California. Anybody know that? The same community that Sharon Tate, Beach Boys, Marilyn Manson, Roman Polanski, all the rest of them came out of. That was a way for everybody, in a sense, to be able to let everybody feel like everybody's the same and nobody's different and everybody should be good and kumbaya, we'll all get together and we'll all go in there together and it's going to be us and come on, man. Niggas can't even decide who they like better, Biggie or Tupac. And so what do? They'll make a movie out of Biggie, but they don't create a hologram of Tupac. So what's next? A hologram of James Brown, hologram of ODB, hologram of Aaliyah. Guess what? They'll do it too. And the funny thing is most black people don't see that shit is disrespectful. And that shows you the level of insanity that is going on in your community, man. That has nothing to do with me. I didn't create that. As soon as I saw that Tupac hologram shit, after I was like, wow, they have really graduated to the next level of disrespect. You know how many, so I go online, you know how many people like that shit? People on Facebook and stuff like that was nominating people who they think should be next. Again, watch the Hunger Games, son. That's the society that they're gearing your children and you to be a part of, black man, black woman. Pan them. Them or they of Pan. So, yeah, I know Pan is really the original image of this and that, and it's really synonymous to the Moor, and Baphomet is really Muhammad and all that other crap. But guess what? When it comes down to it, when the average everyday person sees Baphomet, they think of Satan. So I know what you're talking about, the esoteric shit and all that. I got all of that, and that's great. But when we're dealing with the 85, which is, again, most of us is dealing with 85ers in our everyday life, unfortunately, and you wear a Baphomet shirt, you see what happened. Black people spooked by everything anyway. These niggas out-sharpened Jesse Jackson. These niggas can't wait for one of you niggas to get killed. So that way they could come out and lead you to a march and get arrested and then get, $10,000 a head for as many people as they get locked up. This is what's going on in your community, man. But now the new shit is these conscious niggas, now they're trying to just be mainstream. They're like, you know what, this conscious music shit ain't working, so let's be mainstream. But I told you they was going to do that. I told you that most of these niggas is using this whole consciousness knowledge shit as a way to break into the rap game. And you talking from somebody who rap. You talking from somebody who got an album out. But I ain't going to do no lecture and then at the end of the lecture put on a show for you. I ain't going to do that. The lecture going to be one day, the show going to be another day. I'm not going to switch. I'm not going to drop it on you like that. I'm not going to do all of that. Because everything that we're supposed to be doing is a means to an end to get us up out of the situation, man. Everything that you're supposed to be doing, every breath you muster, every thought that you think should have something to do with the destruction of Western civilization in it. They took Brother Daoud's and my videos down when he was telling people how to basically have sex and right before your moment of orgasm, envision the destruction of Western civilization. This is why they took the shit down. That's why they blacklisted Brother Daoud. In the same conscious community where now niggas is sitting in front of him with pictures behind him like he farted. But when I was around these niggas calling him a crackhead. They calling him a drunk and all this other shit. Right? But now the same dudes, right? The same dudes is the ones now trying to big him up and trying to get some of his light on them. And this is what I'm saying in our community, man. How many times are we going to let this happen? How many times, man? Are they going to get rid of your leaders? The people who work for Steve Cook, you probably wouldn't even know who the Boule is. Still. Like I said, God forbid any of your loved ones get killed or whatever, make sure that they don't do no incisions on that body because they're taking organs out of you and they selling them to other white people, because they the ones with the money to buy the damn organs, okay? So, again, that's something that white folk got to deal with themselves in their community, in their world, but they not going to do it if you don't press them to do it. And guess what? Niggas don't press them to do it. All niggas do is get pressed, right? So I can see why it could be hard for some people to do that. But guess what? When I'm in my everyday life, I'm building with people. Yeah, I may build on it when I see some people, but I'm not walking down the street with a billboard that this is how I think in my life. Or that this is how I get down, and that if you're not this conscious or you're not this, you can't be down with me. We're running water. I can turn it on, man. So this is what I'm saying, family. Again, and I can only use myself and my situations and the things that happen to me as an example because I can only really speak for myself. So because this is the show that we created to be able to build upon the things that we seem prudent to that, I'm exposing these bourgeoisie black niggas because I'm letting you know these are the same ones that are taking your money and trying to find ways to integrate into white society so that way they don't need you no more. This is what niggas is doing, son. So what, I'm whack for saying that this is what's really happening? No, what happens is I'm the one that gets ostracized because, again, I know about all that masonry shit because the Creator divinely inspired me to figure it out without having to do all of that, which then proves that you can get that knowledge and beyond that knowledge without getting in it. Because as far as I'm seeing, the only shit that brings is sacrifice. So far, almost every so-called Freemason that I know or has known done had somebody next to them dead. So you tell me. Again, if it happened once, okay. If it happened twice, okay. Well, what do they say? One shot, straight. 2 shot, misfire. 3 shot, gunplay. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why these rituals keep working is because as much as we done built on them, we ain't do nothing spiritually or collectively enough to put a pin in that shit and burst a bubble on it. I mean, you got dudes selling timeshares right now and acting like it's some whole next level shit. And joining up and figuring out how to do it and all of that. Don't let these people get into your 401ks. Don't let these people get into your pensions. All these years you've been working. So now, right when you're about to get the pension, right when you're about to get out the job, right when you're about to get the next thing, so what you going to do, switch it in midstream and be like, okay, now fuck that. I'm going to resend everything and get my – what did you work all of that time for? Like Dr. King said, he said, don't let them take your manhood, black man. This is what he said. These are the things that you'll never hear. You hear about our dream, the dream speech and going to the mountaintop, but you don't hear the real shit that he was saying right towards the end when he knew they was going to take him out. Because he was down with them, okay? Just like most Prince Hall, Jesuit, Freemasons. Sorry. Trayvon's pops. Sorry. Nobody told you to join none of that shit. And again, Masonry, just for the people of Chiefs, Masonry is not evil. Masonry is created by your ancient forefathers. Freemasonry was created to civilize the devil. So if you were already a civilized Moor walking on the square, what you got to go back in and pledge some shit that you naturally are. You only doing that to get ahead somehow. You only doing that to get some type of credit. But all you get from that shit is debt. Unless you are willing to be clandestine and come out of that and denounce the satanic aspect of that. And a lot of Masons don't, because a lot of them don't even know that that's what's going on. So you keeping these top secret, useless secrets for who? For who? So every Thursday you going somewhere like Richie Howell's father, right? Or Ralph Cramden and shit, and going somewhere to walk around in suits and aprons and all this other shit. You could do that in the crib. So again, any nigga that's willing to wear an apron outside is going to blow up. It's going to get accepted in certain places that I won't. Because I'm not supposed to be in them places. Because I know ritual when I see it. I know a psychological intelligence operation when I see it. You understand what I'm saying? And nobody can tell me no different. And all I'm saying to you, original people, is that you got a choice. This is your moment in history. Prehistory, history, post-history. This is your moment. This is the time when you're supposed to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to be down with that, regardless to how much money you give me, regardless to how much they're going to do that, regardless to whether or not you're going to torture me or not. Because they can't kill us all, man. But again, just like the prophet said, don't throw away your Bibles, Moors, because you're going to need them in the end. And so what do these Moors constantly do? Always telling you how whack Christianity is and how whack it is and how whack Jesus is and Jesus is whack and all this other shit, right? Right? Let you follow these niggas right to the fucking ovens the same way that they did to the Jews, and Crux and them is still making money off of that. Oh, you ain't know that? Crux built the ovens. Hugo Boss designed the uniforms, right? Standard Oil provided the fuel, right? Do you know right now that Bill Gates got a low jack on his leg because he's being tried on international crimes of genocide? And did you know that he contracted Jay-Z and Kanye to do posters and all of that for that campaign, that they are now also under investigation behind that shit? Just like they was in investigation with Nas and Jay-Z behind that water fiasco in Africa. That's why that nigga can't go back. Jay-Z, excuse me. Nas cleared his shit up. These rappers, these people want to be everything but a black man and a black woman. Excuse me, an original man and an original woman. You're about to reach 25 years, so they're about to come up with a whole new classification for you. Because you know every 25 years, black people call themselves something different. So they're about to come up with the new shit. What you think the census questions is about? So if more people refer to themselves as more in the census, then that's going to be the name that we start to use, y'all. And we're going to try to incorporate that and find a way to make money off of that shit, too. Because the Moors don't really have a consolidated nation enough where they can actually come together and do something constructively with themselves, by themselves, for themselves. So, again, I'm not talking about those people in the MST-of-A because they look out for their own people. But if you are more, if you consider yourself a more and you're not in the MST-of-A, they may not look out for you like that. So, really, who are they really looking out for? Noble Drew Ali ain't do that. Noble Drew Ali was telling people, hey, if you are more and you go out to the bar, don't have your fez on in the bar. If you smoking weed, don't wear your fez while you smoking weed. He ain't tell you not to do it. He just said don't do it when you wearing a fez because you representing the national people. But the other day, I'm watching the video. They got this nigga Robin Thicke with the little monkey with the fez on, clapping his tambourine, which is a symbol of the dead, sleeping Moors. His shorty, Paula Patton, she comes from the Patton family. Remember Patton, the white man, the general? Yeah. So again, all of these people come from somewhere. So guess what? If they come from somewhere, you come from somewhere too. But these niggas want to be the ones to tell you where you come from. They want to be the ones to claim your knowledge and act like you needed them specifically to do it, and that without them it would never happen. This is the lofty hierarchy that has now existed in our community. So again, I'm not creating this. This is what it is. I'm just reporting it and keeping it 100 without the yellow journalism. So Queen was building with me, and she was saying how she went online and she was researching the Martin Luther King thing with his wife, with his mom and his brother being killed on the same day. And she said, well, the shit that she found said that they did get killed, but they got killed on different days. Okay, great. The point is, they was all killed. But the paper that I first read, right, and the Jet magazine that I looked at, said that coincidentally, and this is the word that they use, coincidentally, but I also know that they archive everything and they switch everything up. But the truth is the truth. The truth is the proof. Who killed his mother? Why did they shoot his mother at the organ? Why did they drown his brother in the pool? Whether it happened the same day, the next day, the day before, the day after, we still talk about black people who was murdered and nobody went and did anything about it. Heard about it, nothing. The last real group that you had that was out here really trying to put major work in for black people against the government quiet as kept was the El Rukins. Not Farrakhan, not none of the El Rukins, the Black Peace Stones, big up Chi-Town. They was the ones going hard. Because they was the ones that was cleaning up the Islamic war, the war between the Muslim factions that started with the death of Malcolm and ended with the Hanifa killings at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar house. The El Rukins was the one that came in and started consolidating and bringing the Moorish shit into it. So what did the white man do? Come in and say, oh, these niggas selling drugs, these niggas doing all that. So what? Even if they was. So what? Jay-Z sold drugs. He's a billionaire almost. Right? How many rappers you know? 50 Cent sold crack. You know how many people he killed off of that? So what? We big him up. So what's the difference? The difference was they wasn't on the take. You understand? So again, I know these niggas know. I know they know us. I know they do. And there's an aspect of me that's starting to like it. I'm starting to like the blacklisted shit. I'm starting to really, really feel like we really got these dudes pressed up. I really am starting to feel like this. Like if my name is causing niggas to try to get calls and work against, that really says a lot. More about them than me. Because you're giving me way too much power. Way too much. I'm not even involved like that. But the truth is the proof, like I said, man. And this is the time for the fence sitting to get done with. It's a wrap. Make your decision, make your choice, stick to it. Even if it's wrong, at least you made a clear delineation to what you're going to do, what you're not going to do, what you're going to participate in, what you're not going to participate in. And that's all you can really do as a man or woman anyway. All you really got in this life is your word. So if you can't control nobody else in this life, you can control your damn self. So again, man, you know, some people hear it as ranting, some people hear it as this. I don't give a damn, man. At this point in the game, it's like, it is what it is, man. People either really like me or really don't. And at this stage in the game, I don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Because in the end, it's not about me. It's about what we represent. It's about what you potentially are all the time. It's about that limitless potential that the Creator put in the divine spark that you call your soul, that is the evidence of the fact that you are an immortal being. And the melanin event is the evidence of the fact that you are an immortal being that incarnated here to do the Creator's work. That's what that means. Just like when Solomon said, please do not abhor me, O daughters of Jerusalem, for I am dark and comely. But you know how many movies I've seen with Solomon being portrayed by a white man? You think any black people came out and beefed about that? No. But with the Hunger Games, the minute one of the little kids, one of the black characters that's black in the book, comes off and is actually casted black, is a problem. The minute you make Idris Elba Heimdall in Thor, it's a problem. The minute you make Spider-Man black, it's a problem. You get inundated with all this racist shit. And the white nigga that did that thing with Spider-Man, Grant Morrison, he got an adopted black kid. I mean, that's neither here nor there, but it goes to show you what I'm saying. They just put out reports that say, on one level, it's saying that Hispanic people, or people who consider themselves Latin, because some Latin people feel like they're a different race, like they don't have no black connection, like they're not black. But they lump you in with us the same way, so get used to it. But long story short, they said that they're the most upwardly progressive so-called minority group in the country. But at the same time, they have the highest rate of homelessness of any other quote-unquote minority group in the country. What's that about? How are you making all of this bread to become a force politically, but then you can't even house your own people? Why? Because you're doing it under the term Hispanic. So that means that you are not black. That means that you're different from me. That means that we can't work together. That's what America is, man. Niggas only work together in America to get paid. Let's keep it real. So again, you're a president. You done all of this to help get him in there, all of that, right? Right? Big them up, all of that shit, right? This nigga, as soon as he get a chance to go in on you, he do. Should be damn ashamed of himself saying all that stuff he was saying about black people and everything. But guess what? Black people will sit there and eat it. National Black Caucus. the Negro AACP. These are the terms they still using over you. These are the terms that they still identifying you by. And then you wonder why they're killing you wholesale. We have to consolidate what we're going to do for our community, for our nation, for our God, for our people. We got to do that. But when I say we, it's those of us that want to be a part of that. Because nobody, including me, got the right to make anybody be a part of anything they don't want to be a part of. So if you don't like consciousness, you don't got to be conscious. If you don't like me, you don't got to listen to me. If you don't like this person, you ain't got to listen to them. In the end, it always comes down to what you want to do. So even though choice somewhat is illusionary, at least you got that still. But let them pop this race war off and see what happens. So this is what's really hood, man. Nah, it is what it is, man. This is what it's about, man. Stand for something or fall for everything, man. Yeah, man. I don't know. It just really... Okay, man. So, one of the things we could look out for as well is this Taurus new moon that started day before yesterday. This is basically, anytime you're dealing with Taurus, you're dealing with the energy of the earth. You're also dealing with a certain degree of our set energy. You know what I'm saying? And that Aset energy is there to allow you to see through the illusion. If you do the knowledge, the bull got two horns. The symbol of Isis got two horns, right? That two represents wisdom. Wisdom is the reflection of your knowledge. So with these Taurian supermoons coming down, you have a lot of energy that is going to hit the planet, or that's hitting the planet for this new year. That's totally about getting rid of the illusion, getting you to see through the illusion. You know what I'm saying? Right. On the other hand, this is also about balancing. You know what I'm saying? And the balancing aspect of this Taurian moon, which is again is a super moon, is also about you being able to see your intentions as to what those intentions are going to be. You know what I'm saying? It's about you abstaining from things that you know is going to get you caught up. You know what I'm saying? So within astrology, you got three aspects or modes, right? These modes represent fire. It represents cardinal, right? Fixed and mutable. So a lot of Taurus or Taurus' energy can be very straightforward, but can also be very slow or sluggish at some times. It can also be very, let's be very stubborn, you know what I mean, when it comes to moving ahead or creating boundaries for a specific situation, right? However, this new moon in Taurus is very, very significant in terms of where we are, in terms of what's going on with them astrologically, in terms of war. You know what I mean? Also, you're going to be going through a Venus retrograde, right? This is going to start around May 15 Pacific time. So around this time, Venus slows and kind of halts its progression and then starts moving backwards, right? So it's going to move backwards from about 23.59 degrees Gemini. And it's going to keep going back till it reaches about 728 or between 727 and 730 in Gemini, on or about June 27th, right? This is going to be 2 days after Saturn stations itself in a direct relationship. Venus is ruled by Libra. Saturn rules Capricorn, but Saturn is also the family planet. And remember, Libra is always about war, so it wouldn't surprise me if whatever war between Iran or Afghanistan or the new war they want to pop off in Africa, or they formally announce the war that they're fighting in Eritrea right now, or they may formally express the war that's going on in Nigeria. Either way, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So definitely look out for things around that time that get kind of funny.
One more. You don't need to cry. You don't choose to cry.
Another mutable relationship is going to go down retrograde time by Mercury. So this is going to be Venus. And in that, it's going to create a lot of people feeling like they're confined, a lot of energy with people feeling like no matter what they do is not enough. You know what I'm saying? So in times like this, you have to be very, very careful with what you say. So whenever there's a Mercury retrograde or whenever Mercury goes retrograde in Mercury ruled planets, you need to really watch your communication, what it is you're saying, how you're communicating. Those are times I tell people retrogrades are kind of whack, but they're great for corrections. So whatever corrections you need to do, that's definitely the time you need to pop them off. You know what I mean? It's probably the most time when they'll be beneficial. Also, when people start talking to you around that time frame, start to repeat back to them what it is they said to you. So that way you have a final understanding of what it is. so that way they can hear for themselves what's going on. So definitely Mars retrograde in Virgo are certain dates that you should look out for. So definitely, like I said, she's going to start clicking after September. So again, November 10th, 2011, January 23rd, January 23rd, 2012, we're going to have a station retrograde at 23 degrees, 0.5 in Virgo. We also going to have an April 13th, 2012, that already passed, where we're direct in Virgo. Then we're going to have another one on June 19th, where we leave the retrograde zone, and then around July 3rd, the day before the 4th, Mars is going to enter into Libra. That's going to create conflict. Because let's say Mars in Libra is like Aries in Libra. Mars in Libra, when Mars enters Libra, it's not comfortable there because Libra is ruled by Venus. So you're going to look for some sort of confrontation coming to a head around that point. So these are just zone dates for you to do the knowledge to. You know what I'm saying? Also look out for August 7th when Venus enters Cancer. Also look out for May 15th when we have the stationary retrograde at 23.59 degrees or 24.50 degrees, depending on what type of astrology you're doing, as it enters Virgo. So these are definitely things to look out for. Also, in retrospect, I want to say peace and love to my daughter, Victory Rose Ali Allah. Inshallah, that is still her name, because I know her mother has, you all know the story with that. But today is her birthday, and I just want her to know that her father loves her and always has, and I always will, in regards to who or what is going on. Nothing is going to stop me from doing the work that we need to do to get together. And for all of those fathers and mothers that have had their children stolen or turned against you or taken by the state or whatever happens to us as a rites of passage when you become conscious, just know that there's a special hell. There's a special hell in the universe for those people who mess with other people's children like that, man. Don't ever get it twisted. And just because it's like that now, don't think that it's always going to be like that. Because a lot of times this is a test not only for you, but for the child. Because you got to remember, when they say that you're born alone and you die alone, this is real. Regardless to who or what, whether or not you have a good father, a good mother, it's about whether you're going to be a good person or not. Because their job is to bring you here. So once you're here, it's always on you. It's on your parents up to 18. So hopefully up to 18, whatever she may go on is on me. But I tell you this, at 18, it's all on them. You dig? In the Jewish community, it started at 13. You know what I'm saying? So you know how they do. Speaking of which, the first round of prosecution is going down for those members of those Lubavitch communities that was biting the tips off of the black babies' penis, the babies' penises and giving them herpes, due to the predilection of these so-called Hasidic Jews and these moils who were involved in the organ harvesting ring, as well as the baby sex ring that was going on in the New York community. And the first round of prosecution is going through with them with that, but they're keeping that on the low because anything that happens with these Jewish people like that, they keep that as close to the breast as possible because that's kind of like a holy cow for them. So, trying to think if there's anything else. Let's see. So, yeah, that stellar portal in the sun, for those people who went to my Facebook page after the last show we did and we built on it, that stellar, there was a pyramid that appeared in the sun, a straight black pyramid that appeared in the sun between the months of March 11th and March 13th. I wrote about this on my blog on the Facebook page. But just to reiterate, and that happened to coincide around the same time that the thing happened with, again, was in the height of the Trayvon thing, as well as some of the other nefarious things that they got popping. Anyway, this portal was so big that it could not be seen. So what happened was you had a heavy intent of chemtrails all throughout the country for that whole time frame that they was going through that. And so this portal is opened up and is been open for a while now, and quite as it's kept, it's getting bigger. So this is the best time for you to project your energy towards that sun, because that sun is actually opening up a portal to allow whatever ancestral energies to push through it. And the fact that they manifested in the form of a giant black pyramid says a lot. Now, the funny thing in talking about comics, there was a while ago where there was a comic called The Authority, and towards the end of the series, the first run of the series, the last mission they fought, they had to stop this pyramid that manifested in the sun. Remember that, Shawnee? That manifested out of the sun. Yeah. And they had to go up there and figure out what was going on with the shit, because it was really freaking people on Earth out. So this comic book came out sometime in the late 90s. You know what I'm saying? And with all of that being said and done, this is what it manifests as. So if this black triangle, this black pyramid that they said is the size of Mars, you understand, was so heavy that they needed to bombard you with more chemtrails within that period, this is, again, them showing you and not telling you what's going on. This is a part of what I'm referring to. If you hear it anywhere else, you heard it first, the terraforming of America. This is what's going down. They are trying to split this country up down the middle through the Mississippi and create an eastern district and a western district. This is what they want. They want to create a feudalized system that is institutionalized all over the world. The sexual preference of this so-called New World Order nation is homosexuality, and the music that is supposed to be associated with, or national music, is supposed to be hip-hop. That's why you will hear a hip-hop beat in every commercial now. For diapers, for cars, for insurance. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where Drake is getting bar mitzvahs, re-bar mitzvahs in his new video. Yeah. But it's called a re-bar mitzvah, but what's still in the video, when they show his picture on the cake, the wording is reversed. So he had a re-bar mitzvah, a ra bar mitzvah, you understand? So, again, he's a Jew, that's what they do. And just like my queen, she's a Hebrew, that's what they do. That's what they did. But the issue is, nowadays, when we think about that stuff, we think about white folk, and that's not how it was or is. So again, for those people who we turned off tonight, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. It probably is what it is. It's probably better that you don't listen. It's probably better, because it's only going to get more intense from this day on. You understand what I'm saying? Because as it stands, as long as we can do this show, we'll do it. But I'm not one of these people that's going to lie to you and tell you that I'm going to die for somebody that's not going to die for me. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's more important, that things are more important for me than my family. I can't do that. But what I can do is stay as consistent as possible and keep it as real as possible for the people. I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
If you have to take a week off. I said we haven't not been in our house for 3 years on a Monday or a Friday. Not even on some sacrifice shit, but this year enjoys it, and it makes us happy to know that we can affect people that aren't in the little circle, the little group of nothing. And, I think that's why we sometimes do it, because one email a week just saying, you know, I really appreciate, I know I'm not crazy thing. It really charges us. It's like fuel to our soul.
It just shows
and I
me.
appreciate it, but
me too, and it just
you know,
shows me that
yeah,
the Creator.
it's nice to have a week off, but maybe that week off, it's like we're gonna get there in a week.
We're gonna get there.
We need to take a week off, and mostly spent just knowing that my husband doesn't, you know.
But again, man, you know what I'm saying? This is how it was. My life was like this before any of this, before I knew any of y'all, before y'all even heard of me. I was always on it like this, and anybody who know me know that. You understand? So this is not no new shit. This is not nothing that's out. This is what I've always been about. You understand? So again, when I'm just here to let you know and to be a physical example for you to show you that when you are really about it, everything in this reality is going to raise up to kind of thwart you. But at the same time that's going on, you also have all of these mighty forces coming to your aid, because we wouldn't be able to do this long, this consistent, if it wasn't for the strength and prayers and good wishes and donations for them people who have actually helped us. I'm not hating, and again, I'm not talking about the people who have actually donated and have actually tried to help us however they could. You know, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the feeders. I'm talking about the parasites. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the people who's out here raping and pillaging people and then trying to get photo ops with me so that way they could look like they're on the same tip. That's not what's going on, G. I was born at night, but not last night. So what we'll do, what time is it, 10:43? We can get a call. Let's go call, man. That's peace. Go to that. 850, you on Super Heru Radio?
Hey, Peace King, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Lord, how you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. This is Ken calling from Memphis, Tennessee.
Hey, Memphis, how you doing, Paul?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right, brother.
Thanks for
man, I
tuning in,
just want to tell you, stay positive, keep on doing what you're doing, because I've been, ever since you started your blog talk, I've been listening and enjoying what you've been talking about and, you know, following up on stuff and really, you know, it's practical. Because, you know, I've listened to a lot of different people's stuff, but, you know, can you apply this stuff to your everyday life besides just a lot of abstract concepts that, you know, I got to go buy 1,000 books to really get? Nah, you just keep it real, man.
How is this helping all of us? How is it that if one of us get in some type of traffic shit, there's not one universal number that can be called with, at a moment's notice, whoever's in that vicinity can go and get that person. We don't have that. If we had something, guess what? The Jews got that, though. They got their own police force.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Some of the Mexicans even got their own police force. Some of the everybody, Chinese, you know what I'm saying? Japanese, every community got it except us and the quote-unquote Hispanics, because we're the ones who join up with the white man. And everybody know it.
Yeah, that's the truth, man. You know, I was talking out to like one of the little spots I go to, and I was telling people, you know, like the Mexicans, just like in the community I'm living in, I'm like, the Mexicans are like really taking over. But look at the positive stuff they're doing. They got some damn stoves that you can go in. It's clean. They got places they can actually go in and have a beer or something that's kept up and kept together. But we ain't got basic stuff, and we call ourselves a black community. So come on, y'all. Let's not talk about them. Let's at least look and say they at least got a gas station that they own compared to what the hell we got. What do we got?
That's right.
Nothing.
That's right. And then guess what? If we was to get it, let's say if we did get the black-owned gas station, you know what niggas would do? They'd go to the Mexican gas station, right?
Yep.
Just like when niggas started opening their own, when black people started opening their own nail salons and all of that. Black people didn't go to them. They went to the same Koreans that's poisoning them, putting lye in their nails and all that shit because they don't want no black people helping them. So
that's the truth.
what are we even really talking about? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, let's stop deluding ourselves into thinking that we're more progressive than we really are.
Mhm.
Let's just deal with where we are. Maybe if we just was honest about where we at, we could start to move up.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know an answer to a question, I say I don't know. I'm not going to bullshit you. You know what I'm saying? And go all around the bush and give you some crazy answer that really is not the truth, because I just don't want to be real and tell you I don't know. Because, again, a lot of these brothers, good or bad, came at a point in which they never had anybody to listen to them. So now they're in a position they doing that, they'll say anything just to keep people focused on them. So again, like my grandmother used to say, my mother-in-law used to say, she said, there's quantity black and then there's quality black. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to decide which one we are.
Yeah.
But like the Queen said, I don't think it's going to be everybody at this stage. And again, I really don't think so anymore. I think it's going to be those of us who really want it. And to keep it real, I don't even think we really have an idea of how it's going to really go down like that. But what I do know is that those of us who have made the sacrifices to do what we need to do and hold shit down, we're going to find out.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's tough. You know, like I look at my situation, man. I'm a musician at a church. And, you know, a lot of times I understand you got this nonsense that go on, but at the end of the day, they still got it where they put money in my pocket. At the end of the day, that is helping sustain my whole life. So it's like, at the end of the day, what can I really say about them that's that bad? Compared to it on the other level, say if I want to go out here and spit knowledge and do all this other stuff, how much money are y'all really giving me for a DVD to come in here and speak? But the church, it's sustaining me for doing something that I love to do, which is music.
Exactly. And again, you know the difference. So just because you sit there and playing music for these people don't mean that you're on the same vibrational tip that they on. If anything, you help raising them up. You know what I'm saying? Because your consciousness is what's hitting them keys. And you know that there's a symbolic nature of them 88 keys with the white and the black. You know all of that.
That's right, man. And I have learned through that how to really be out in the system and in that arena. Because I know one time when I bought this, the spirit led me to buy this rock chain out in Atlanta one time when I was up in Atlanta seeing my brother. And I decided to wear it to church one day.
You are more, okay? Exactly. I'm listening to you.
And it was like, you know, my director came up to me and like, oh, man, you need to put that up because we don't want the pastor, nobody to say nothing. And it was like, what? But, okay, I'm not going to even much trip about it, man. I put it up, and it was just the weirdest thing that happened that day. All of a sudden, they wanted to pray for me. I'm like, y'all want to pray for me? Okay, let's go. Let's go ahead and do it. But as they were praying and laying hands on me, I was just having my whole thing about saying how I'm going to charge this and use this. And ever since then, it was so funny. The next week, I broke my hand.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, goddamn.
Your right hand or your left hand?
My right hand.
Wow.
I'm a piano player. So I'm like, well, shit, how am I going to be able to keep this job now? Because I'm like, you know, then I had to.
This is after they did the prayer on you. This is after they did the prayer and broke the hand, right?
Broke my hand.
Go ahead.
So I come back to church, but I'm like, well, shit, it got set up to where, well, hell, you're going to play bass now with your left hand. I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm like, and now we just rocking it. And I'm like, church service is going good and all this stuff. I'm like, hey, it's like if you're not coming up here to do nothing wrong, this one thing my grandmother told me when I went back home to Florida. I'm from Florida originally. I went to see her. She was about 90 years old. And she said, you know what? When you're doing right, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
That's right.
So I'm not coming up here to put down anybody. I'm not coming up here to say what I think I know is right. I'm just coming here to do what's right. So y'all follow the same path. Y'all not doing nothing wrong. I've never heard y'all here lying to nobody. You're doing what's right. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, family. I really, really appreciate that, man, especially today, man.
Hey, no doubt, man.
Exactly what I'm talking about, man. Yeah.
No doubt.
No, I really, really appreciate it,
man. You know, I I bought like all your comic book series DVDs. I bought all those. I keep supporting and keep listening and touring there. One day hopefully we can get y'all to Memphis and come do some speaking, man.
We would love it. We would love it. We would love it. Because, again, like I said, we got a lot more people praying for us and holding us down than the haters. It's just that because the haters are so, satanic to a certain degree. You know what I mean? They want us to believe. They want us to believe that, Satan rules the earth. And I don't believe that, man.
Oh, no.
I believe that Satan rules people on earth, but he may, like they said, he may run around this motherfucker, but he don't run it. You know what I'm saying?
Sir. You don't run it at all.
We're going to do it, man. So I appreciate it, family.
Hey, no doubt, man. I appreciate y'all for just giving what y'all giving, man. Because you speak for people like myself who, I don't really have all the. I work for FedEx, 8 hours, 9 hours a day. I just don't have time to really read and study like I would want to. You know what I'm saying? But this is where I get my information from. So I thank you.
Really, that's what I mean, man. And that's why we do it, G. Because of that as well. Because this is a ebb and flow thing. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's never the people who support we build and we talk about in those terms. It's always the people who want to act like they support it. You know what I mean? And then try to take credit for niggas on the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? So again, family, blessings to you, blessings to the family out there.
You and your whole family, and bless all of you.
You as well, family. Be safe.
All right. You too.
Peace.
Peace.
One thing I did acknowledge too, guys, is that the reason why we not where we supposed to be as well is because, or the reason why this thing hasn't totally turned over to us in the material sense yet is because spiritually we are still at war with each other. And this don't got nothing to do with the white man. This don't got nothing to do with any other race on the planet but us. And when I'm talking about that, I'm also talking about Africans. I'm talking about us here as original people in America. We have the worst representation, but then everybody in the world wants to copy you and be you. That's because your family, we are the people we are the only people on this planet who have specifically had our history doctored and changed and mixed up and have been put under the jurisdiction of the people who we put in a position to help civilize. So therefore, nobody has our story but us. Your story do not begin in Africa. Your story begins where you are because you are Africa. You are America. You are Asia. You are Europe. You are Earth. You are Mecca. You are the temple. You are the sea. You are everything that they say that you're not, and then some. But if you don't believe it and you going to let these people tell you that they got you from the moon, and so be it. And you have enough black people around you who will totally support that shit, who don't want to be anything other than base. And they shouldn't be anything other than that because they'll mess the game up. So they should stay on the level that they at and let those who want to ascend, man. There's nothing wrong with that. You do not have to be on some kumbaya, let's get along with everybody shit, because that's not real. It's not real. And the people who are talking to you about that shit are the people who are the most divided. I'm keeping it real with you. In a creative society, you ain't never read any passage in the Bible or anything else in which people were trying to get together and God said, I want that to happen. No, God said, get away from them people. The Creator said, build that ark and get the hell out because I'm about to rip this whole shit up because I'm tired of these niggas. Right? He said, render unto Caesar what is Caesar. He said, be the best you could be. The kingdom of God is within, not in the temple of men. This is what he's saying. He said the Spirit of God exists in Pineal. I saw the light, and the light's name was Pineal. So, again, when I'm doing these classes every week, again, we doing every week or whatever, we trying to do every other week or whatever, and we building on it and trying to keep it as cost-effective and everything as possible. I didn't touch it. So it's a situation, like I said, where all of this is going down, and it's about what you decide you want to do. Creator is not going to hand over this government or any worldly government to us until we get to the point that we decide what government we're going to be in and whether or not that government is going to have a theocratic base. And when I say theocratic, I'm not talking about no religion. I'm not talking about Islam. I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm not talking about any of that shit. You could be that if you want. But when it comes to this knowledge shit and when it comes to this culture shit and this nature shit, we all going to be like this. There's way more Muslims in China, black Muslims in China, than Chinese people. But you'll never see them because the yellow Chinese people, not to be racist, but hey, them type of Chinese people, the phenotypical Chinese people, they don't want you to see the remnants of ancient Ixia or Ixin or the Tiang. They don't want you to deal with that because that's going to bring it to the Olmecs, and that means they're going to have to get up out of their country too. So again, this thing ain't going to move until everybody decide what tree they're going to be up under and what they're going to follow. So again, when these ones start coming to you and talking about nationality and this and this and that, ask them who owns the right to, who owns the vexillology, or do they know the real vexillology of the so-called continental flag? And if so, how come no Moorish group can actually lay total claim to it by having it in their vote? We all heard the story about Noble Drew Ali going to Woodrow Wilson and taking the flag out of the vault. But have you ever seen any physical documentation of that? No.
How are you going to look at that? There's nothing that you can do for them.
So again, this is what it is, guys.
That's the harsh reality of life. Right.
Keep it real with yourself. Keep it real with your community and your family. For those people who want to join up with our new class coming up this Wednesday, I'm going to send the flyers out to all of our old classmates as well as hopefully some new people. This class is dedicated to creating declarations of peace and treaties of friendship to the world. One of the steps that has been totally overlooked by most people that's filing Moorish paperwork here and there is you don't have a declaration of treaty and peace, and they could take you as a foreign enemy, and then you could be locked up on some Guantanamo shit. So you got to be able to perfect what your world treaty of peace and friendship is going to be. The World Treaty of Peace and Friendship is what basically they use to consolidate the Moorish Empire and annex it with the so-called Old American Republic. So in this class, we're going to be getting into of that, how to bust that down for yourself based upon your individual nationality or whatever, and then hopefully start to create a registrar group, create a so-called registrar group where we could deal with that. So those people who want to build, please email me, or would like to receive the flyer for the class, please email me at houseofl@hotmail.com. HOUSEOFEL@hotmail.com. Okay? Also, anyone who wants to see some of our works, so-called informational, instructional materials on our website, www.aseer.com. Please check that out. Also, I want to again send birthday wishes to my daughter, the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little girl in the world. Sorry that we're in the situation we're in, but again, I'm not the one that's holding you hostage. So now that you're 12, if you can hear me or if anybody know her or whatever, just let her know that her daddy loves her, because as much as I've tried, it's not happening. And again, I ain't gonna force my daughter to make decisions that she may not be ready to make. So for all of those families and brothers and fathers and mothers who have had their children again abducted and stolen from the people who they had them with, just know that there's a special retribution coming for these people. And every day that they have been holding your child against you, they're gonna have to answer for that sooner than they think. So don't lose faith. Don't lose hope. Believe in yourself. Believe in your Creator. Believe in the fact that you are an ascended being, and that you have a purpose and a divine intent that nobody can take from you. Be it. You know what I'm saying? Do it. Instead of aspiring for greatness, be great. And you will. So again, anybody interested in the class, just holler at me, houseofl@hotmail.com. We're going to get it popping this Wednesday at 9 o'clock. I hope to see as many people in there as possible. We definitely use more people to be informed on proper protocols and ways to actually do shit with paperwork that's more effective than creating obstacles, okay? So, again, all those haters, again, honest, calm, whatever. I like the fact that we too black for it, but, again, I'm still about supporting black people. So definitely check them out, see what the material is, but then when you there, press this nigga. Press these niggas, the organizers. Be like, yo, why you hating on the Duke of Tears, man? That's the homie. That's the type of shit that I need to start happening, because that will start to put the haters and the Freemasons and all these niggas that hate the fact that I'm exposing them every week, it put them on notice that we actually have people that's holding us up, man, and holding us down. So with that, we love you. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for tuning in every week. Inshallah, we're going to keep it going. Inshallah, we'll see you Wednesday, and we'll build. Peace.